Welcome, everybody, to the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show featuring Dr. Carolyn Dean. Join Dr. Dean for the next 2 hours along with her host, cohort, and good buddy, Ginny Sanders, also known as Ginny Almighty. Join Dr. Dean as she shares with us her vast range of experience, knowledge, talent, and wisdom. Phone lines are now open, and we'll be taking your calls from around the world and here in the USA.
November 21st. Oh, Jacqueline. Sorry.
Welcome everyone, live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on DreamVision7Radio.com. Welcome everybody. We're happy to have you here, and we are still in the process of transitioning our radio show to this new network. Okay, Carolyn, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, very good. For some reason, I am not able to hear you. Let me start over with my introduction and we'll edit that first part out of the show. Okay, Bob? Welcome everybody to Dr. Carolyn Dean Live here on DreamVision7Radio.com. We're so happy to have you with us this evening. And of course, the most important thing about this evening is you're going to have a wonderful and unique opportunity to talk directly with Dr. Carolyn Dean, which is something I highly recommend to everybody that we encounter, because she is absolutely a voice of clarity and wisdom for our day. And the day is Monday, July 6th, 2020, just in case you're wondering what day we're in. And we know what time we're in on this planet. We're in a time of great transition and incredible fluid changing situations where people have to make decisions on the go. They have to decide what's best for themselves, their health, their vitality, and their well-being, their bodies and their spirits, all on a dime, because everything is changing so rapidly. But there's one thing that hasn't changed in many, many years, and that is Dr. Carolyn Dean. And even though the times are changing, there's another thing that hasn't changed, and that's how your body works. Your body is the same as it's always been at a cellular level, requiring the same nutrients, the same biological assets like water and air. We haven't gotten rid of any of those, and we won't be anytime soon. And she knows how to master all these possibilities for health. So we're going to be talking to her this evening. We're going to be taking your calls as you come in to the radio station, and we're also going to be taking your chats through our live chat mechanism. So before we say bring Dr. Carolyn Dean on, I just want to also remind everybody that this is not a medical advice show. Dr. Dean is not allowed to give medical advice on her radio show. This is a talk show about natural health and nutrition and how to support the body with the structure and function of things that it naturally, effortlessly gets from nature. And she will tell you what she would do if she were in your shoes, which she has been in many times, because she has perfected her formularies and also her advice from having a body herself. Right, Carolyn?
Yes, that's right, Jenny. I have a body, my own little body.
And here come the children. All right, everybody. How are you doing tonight, Carolyn?
Doing great. Just finishing my last email as I multitask my way into your life now. Okay, I am ready, set, go. And Ginny, I did hear the children in the background. can you or Bob put them on again just so my head is on straight for our show?
Okay.
There they are, poor things. They're having trouble in the transition as well, but all will be well. Actually, yes, it's interesting because our topic of today is on longevity. So these children are going to live forever. You can be assured of that. But we usually start off with a few announcements, and they are increasing. I have number one, our subscription service, Ginny. Do you want to tell folks what that means and how they can get involved?
Sure, absolutely. And we're so happy to announce this for our listeners and for our customers at rnareset.com, because for years we've been asked, can't I just put Remag on an auto ship and have it sent to me once a month? And, you know, as we were a smaller company and we were doing everything in a very small, modest way, we didn't really have the staff or the resource to be able to deal with the administrative aspect of that selection process. But now that we have our huge mountain, our 30,000 square foot facility, and we've got an extraordinary customer service staff led by Elisa Wright, and we've got an amazing warehouse team led by Susan Sanders, and we've got all kinds of bells and whistles. It's like, yeah, okay, we can do that now. So we do have a subscription service on our checkout for our web cart. And if at any time you know that you want to just have that reoccurring order, you can put your subscription in. And of course, you will get your account and you can modify it and change it. Just like Chewy.com, my favorite shopping cart in the world. So ours is really cool and groovy like that too. So we're very happy to have you use that and utilize that to your benefit. So you'll know every single time without exception or fail, your products are coming to you. And that's very exciting.
Perfect. And how do people get involved with the subscription service? Where do they sign up?
Well, well, all that does is it automatically gets added to their cart. And then when they do that, like if they go into order Remag, they click the subscription service, it'll get added to their cart. And then when they go to checkout, it'll ask them a couple extra questions and set up their account. And Bob, there they go. Boom. Bob's your uncle, as we say.
So every time a person orders, they'll be given the offer to add that product or all the products in their cart to a subscription service.
Yes, and they can pick and choose what they want. And then once they subscribe, they can also go in and change and modify their shopping cart. So let's say they want 3 things, and then we come out with another product, like sometimes we do. And then they can run in there and they can change that and add that before their order ships again. So it's very flexible. It's very fluid. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, it sounds much more seamless than when we first started talking about this years ago. So that's wonderful. And yes, a lot of people will say to us in customer service, oh my gosh, you know, I just ran out and it's going to take me actually it only takes a few days for products to ship, but has that changed with COVID? Has the shipping time increased, which makes a subscription service even more important, I guess?
Oh yeah, it's important. For the other thing is when you put your subscription order in there, the chances of you getting in an out of stock situation is very slim. But yeah, COVID is changed a lot of things, and especially if you're living in those rural areas and international customers, it has definitely delayed the shipping. So, you know, the main thing is we don't want anybody to run out of the essential things that they need to maintain their health. And that's another reason for doing this is, you know, you've got to have what you got to have.
Right. So the people on the subscription service, well, I'm not trying to say that other people aren't going to get their products at all, but you're saying if we start to go on back order, you make sure that subscription service people get their orders first?
Well, you have to ship what's been sold. You know, technically when they subscribe, they're buying. And so, you know, they may have not paid for it yet. So let me be clear, but they've committed to wanting that product. And so in essence, it's considered quote unquote sold, and it will quote unquote come out of inventory automatically, even though they haven't paid for it yet, but it will be on reserve for them. That's better. It's like a reservation. It's like a product reservation.
Okay, cool. That's fun.
It
Our
is.
subscription service. Yay. Okay, let me get through the rest of it because that's good. A good overview. We want you to keep referring your practitioner. We have hundreds of practitioners now that are able to help thousands of their patients become our customers so that they too can be as healthy as you all are. We want you to use referral candy so everybody gets their 15% discount. We do absolutely want you to get your blood testing done. It's an in-home blood test kit. It's our research project. We pretty much pay for your tests because we give you coupons to the amount of the test kit. And every day when we get questions from customers or they tell us their results, it shows me how important it is to know what your levels of vitamin D are, your magnesium levels. Look what happened to me, Jenny. Recently, I did my second set of tests. My first vitamin D was 19, and in my world, it should have been at least 30, or 30 to 40. And now with Grassroots Health, I want my D to be 40 to 60. If I had a family history of breast cancer, I'd want it to be 60 and over, maybe 60 to 70. So mine was 19 last fall. I just did it again, and I was taking on average 10,000 units of vitamin D3, the plant lichen vitamin D3, and my test is 53. So look at that.
Yeah.
Now, I don't feel that, I really don't feel different, but it does feel good to know that I do have extra vitamin D on hand. I'm within the 40 to 60, and it only took me those several months of taking the 10,000. So for me, it's worthwhile, beneficial. It worked. Now, at the same time, my magnesium, my red blood cell whole magnesium test, which actually is a little more fine-tuned than even the RBC test, it was 60 in the beginning. And the range, 28 to 46. So I was, quote, above normal. And that made sense to me because I'm very saturated, even though I'm only taking 300 milligrams of Remag, 1 teaspoon of Remag a day. I was 60, so I felt very proud of myself. But look what happened with this test. Yeah, it's very exciting. I love science. I mean, I know I was against lab tests, but it's because they were so inaccurate. So anyway, with this June testing, my magnesium, we could say, dropped to 48.
Oh, wow.
60, and now I'm 48. The range is 28 to 46. So I'm back to high normal. I'm not extremely high normal. But why did that happen, Jenny?
Yeah.
Why did that
happen? Fun. It's because you started taking vitamin D and it started dragging your magnesium. Wow.
Yay!
Oh my God. That is so cool. You are your own like little rock science experiment right there. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just so, it's so instructive, this whole thing, because, people always ask, I dropped, why'd I drop? And we'll say, well, you were stressed out. You had 3 surgeries. You're on 6 medications. That'll do it. And what did I do? The only difference was me taking extra vitamin D, and Ginny, my best student, she knew right away. Why? Because that extra vitamin D, or what I would call high dose vitamin D, it used up a whole bunch of extra magnesium. But not for a moment did I get any heart palpitations or leg cramps as I would if I was magnesium deficient. So I still have my reserves, and I'm playing now with taking a teaspoon and a half to see, will I bring it up again? And what do? I get a little bit of laxative effect, which means I still just require the 1 teaspoon a day. So we are the experiment. That's the name of one of the hundreds of books that I would like to write. We are our own experiment, and you cannot get away from that. And you cannot put yourself in front of another person, whether they be allopathic medical doctor or any sort of practitioner, and tell them that you want them to tell you what to do with your body. It's just not possible. You have to be your own experiment. And with the home blood test kit, you can do that. Seriously. We have hundreds of these test kits, and we want hundreds of our customers to be ordering them. We want what Grassroots Health is doing to become the standard by which we figure out, what's going on with our bodies, because you cannot go to your allopathic doctor and get a blood test and expect it to tell you something. One of my longtime clients, I don't do clients anymore, I just tell them to take my products, but someone got in touch with me and told me their omega-3 levels, and the range of it was like, I forget exactly, but let's say it was 2 to 5, and he was 3. And I said, oh my gosh, you have to get a Grassroots Health home kit, because their research on omega-3 fatty acids shows that you have to be 8 in order to be clinically covered with your omega-3. In other words, a person who is 8 in the cohort population that Grassroots is studying has less omega-3 fatty acid deficiency symptoms or diseases. So we're trying to get people into an optimal range, not just by saying, well, go to the highest level of that range. That's what I've been reduced to telling people for years. Just be at the highest level possible. And now we're finding out that with the Grassroots Health testing, and they send it to one lab, and that one lab is standardized, and we can depend on it. We know every test is equivalent to the next test. And I don't know if that makes sense, but if you look at the 5,000 different blood laboratories in the world, in the U.S., they can have different ranges. They will have different populations. The range in a lab is based on who their population is. The people walking into that lab, they give blood, and maybe it's all computerized, probably is. The range is determined by that population walking in. It has nothing to do with optimum or healthy or anything like that. It's just who's walking in the door, and the range is given, and the bell curve is worked out so that the bottom 10% is too low, the top 10% is too high, and the 80% in between is what's, quote, normal. So if you want to live at normal, go right ahead. I do not intend to live a normal life. No, I want to live an optimal life. So there's the blood testing, and I hope it's the counter on our website is dinging away as people order this test, because it is very important. And like I said, you get the cost of the test back in coupons. We are not making a penny out of this deal. We're just helping you get the information you need to have optimal health. And our magnesium deficiency survey, it keeps propelling us to do what we're doing. We're approaching 50,000 test completions, and it's not wavering, folks. There's still 70% anxiety, 70% insomnia, 60% cramps, leg cramps, 53% heart palpitations and restless legs, 40% headaches and migraines. I mean, heaven forbid it. It's just horrible, the amount of symptoms people have. I would like to mention our nutrients article. Actually, I shouldn't have article there. Our scientific paper called Circulating Ionized Magnesium as a Measure of Supplement Bioavailability. All through the years, people have said to us, when we used to say our Remag is 100% absorbed, I pulled back on that kind of quick because you can't guarantee 100% of anything. So I just said fully absorbed. And they say, well, how do you know? Especially people who think they know science. Well, prove it. How do you know that? So that was the first thing that we set out to prove in our Purdue study was, okay, we say we've got a stabilized ion of magnesium. How do we know that? And what the study started out proving was the size of Remag. We say it's picometer in size and therefore small enough to just jump right into the cells without any help. So they used a molecular size analyzer called the Zetasizer Nano, and they confirmed that the majority of the particle size of Remag is in the picometer range. They didn't believe it. They said, well, that's just not possible. And they repeated the test 3 times. And of course, it stayed that the same stabilized ions were measured. And the way this works, it's a light scattering system for submicron particles, which means, they'll put this laser light through a liquid, through our Remag. And if the light bounces off something, then they're able to measure the size of that substance that the light is bouncing off. And with Remag, there's so little molecular size that they were able to give the picometer measurement. So it was quite awesome for us. And then these ions of magnesium, the scientists had to concur that it made it highly absorptive. And then the next part of the study was, okay, how absorptive? And they tested our human subjects with the Remag, 1 teaspoon and 1 dose of 300 milligrams. And they measured the ionized blood test, ionized magnesium levels at 2 hours. And already the people in that group showed measurable ionic magnesium in their blood. And what that showed the size, the absorption of our Remag, and it also showed that the test, the ionized magnesium test, was superior to the serum magnesium test, because the serum magnesium test, actually, what did that show? I'll have to ask Taylor, our doctor. But what the ionized magnesium test, it was superior to the serum magnesium test, which is going to support our demand that laboratories, blood testing laboratories use ionized magnesium blood testing instead of serum because it is superior. And that's our first study. So I'm just excited to say all these things. And before I even get to the mailbag, anything to add, Ginny, before I go to not the mailbag necessarily, but to your blog that you blogged out today?
Yeah, I just want to say that the thing that's so important about the research study and the research we're doing with Grassroots Health is that this is one of the things that we also are doing to build consumer confidence, because dietary supplements are not studied quite a bit. But as you all have seen, and many people have seen and contact us on a daily basis about the nature of whether or not dietary supplements are reliable, like for example, in this COVID situation, and we don't make any claims that if you take our whole C or what's coming out, our vitamin D or anything else like that, but you can see the studies, zinc, that these are very essential to bolstering the immune system in a way that they're so necessary. So I really want people to know we're boosting consumer confidence, and we're also boosting your confidence. You have to know that you're wearing your face mask on the inside of your body. That's what we want you to know. We want you to be confident as you leave your home and you're with your family and you're on a plane or you're at the beach, that you've got the nutritional assets, the biological assets you need to protect your health in any situation.
Excellent. Excellent. So the blog that Jenny sent out today, that is our topic, is called Magnesium and Telomeres, the Holy Grail of Longevity. So this is about longevity. And this is really important because what we realized is that what we're doing with our total body immunity packaging or bundle, or how we immediately jumped on the importance of supporting the immune system, and we wanted to make sure people had safe products that had a certificate of analysis that came from a company that is in FDA compliance, et cetera, et cetera. So we started working on our immunity bundle, and just today we put up my Total Body Immunity ebook. It's a free download at drcarolyndeanlive.com under books. And what we realized in looking at what our whole C reset, our new vitamin D3 K2 coming out shortly, our Pico Zinc, our Pico Silver, and of course our Remag, what they're doing is not only supporting your immune system, but they're supporting your longevity. I could just turn around and start writing a whole new book about longevity and use these same nutrients, put in the research on longevity instead of all the research on the immune system. So that's where we are right now in evolving our health. We have realized that we can't let our health just be in the hands of allopathic medicine, because they're basically just going to tell us to wait for a drug or a vaccine. And they're never going to tell us to use nutrients. They're not even going to tell us that we should use a safe, inexpensive drug compared to a vaccine or a drug that has the effectiveness of a placebo. They are never going to tell us to stay healthy and take care of our bodies to avoid disease. So that's our job. That's what we're doing here. So as I go through this, the blog that Ginny put out, Magnesium and Telomeres, the Holy Grail of Longevity, think of your immune system as well. It's about magnesium, of course, but as I've said, all these nutrients, you can Google any one of them, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, silver, and of course magnesium, and find that they'll also support the immune system and longevity together. Okay, here we go. As we baby boomers age, we're all trying to find ways to stay younger. Comes as no surprise that magnesium is associated with telomeres. And what's a telomere? It's an essential part of our chromosomes that affects how our cells age. Telomeres are the caps at the end of chromosomes that protect them from unraveling or becoming unattached. They are like the plastic cap at the end of a shoelace or the knot at the end of a string. Aging is documented in our DNA year by year when greater numbers of redundant telomere segments at the end of our chromosomes are nibbled away, eventually leaving the chromosome exposed. Now, when that happens, they just aren't duplicatable. So these telomere segments are supposed to be keeping genes stable, but they shorten over time as cell division becomes less efficient. Shortened telomeres correspond with many conditions associated with aging, including heart disease. So the paper that I referred to, this information is taken from the Magnesium Miracle, is by two brilliant magnesium researchers and their whole team, Drs. Burton and Bella Altora. They wrote the foreword to my Magnesium Miracle book, and they've got well over 1,000 scientific articles under their collective belt. So what they did with this particular paper, and Ginny has a link to it. You can read it yourself. It's quite extraordinary. And they go into aging and magnesium deficiency and say that the aging process is associated with an increase in the levels of pro-inflammatory cytokines in tissues and cells, all present in magnesium deficient animals, tissues, and different cell types. Now, you may have seen the word cytokines or pro-inflammatory around COVID because it's this inflammatory increase in cytokines that builds up and causes a lot of the lung blockage, the pneumonias and the end-stage lung disease that COVID patients die of if you don't have enough magnesium. And vitamin D and vitamin C, by the way, these cytokines build up. The next section, oxidative stress, telomerase in the heart. Certain markers of oxidative stress appear in cardiovascular tissues and DNA, with an accompanying decrease in ionized magnesium levels. Now, actually, it was the Altoras that developed the ionized magnesium testing electrodes. And I'm sure they're very excited that we're doing ionized magnesium research, because it just advances the whole magnesium world when we are able to properly diagnose magnesium deficiency. The next section, magnesium deficiency and endothelial damage. You may have heard about endothelial damage in COVID. That's one of the underlying tissue deteriorations that endothelial, which is the inner lining of blood vessels, the endothelial lining is damaged by COVID, but it's hastened if people have magnesium deficiency. And all the other, when I wrote the book, Total Body Immunity, I found that endothelial damage was associated with vitamin C deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, zinc deficiency. So they all work together, these nutrients. You cannot separate them. Magnesium deficiency and chronic stress, we know how valid that statement is. Magnesium deficiency and heart disease as well. And magnesium deficiency and gene toxicity. We've mentioned about the telomeres, and that magnesium will save the telomeres from this deterioration. Now, there are a lot more words. I'm not going to say all the words of the blog. Please read it. It's you've gotten it in your mail inbox, actually, or you can find it at dearcarolyndeanlive.com at the top of the page, today's blog. So let me reinforce, all the immunity building supplements will work synergistically with magnesium to help support longevity and immunity. And I guess, that's kind of obvious. If your immune system is strong, you're going to live longer. Ginny, anything you can add before I go to the mailbag and just tackle a few of these questions?
You did say that the immune support bundle is going to improve longevity. Is that because of the way it helps with inflammation, or what is the key there to the longevity piece of that?
Well, as I said, it protects the endothelium. So when the blood vessels are strong, they won't allow, viruses to migrate in and out. They will allow the body to work more properly. I think people will have to look at the book and read the book and see themselves. I don't talk a lot about longevity in the Total Body Immunity book, but they'll see that it's going to help people on so many levels. If the cell membranes are strong with omega-3 fatty acids, actually. The lipid layer of the cells keeps the cells working properly. If a cell doesn't have a strong lipid layer, it'll get squished very easily as it goes through the spleen. The spleen sorts out damaged red blood cells. So if your red blood cells aren't strong with good fats and oils, they'll be squishy and they'll just get knocked out of circulation. The body is just quite incredible, the way it keeps us healthy. And, a lot of the information about nutrients came about, Ginny, when people started using what's called parenteral feeding. They could keep people alive by putting up an intravenous of fats and carbs and whatever they thought was necessary to keep people alive. And all of a sudden they would find these people on parenteral nutrition would get horrible skin rashes, and all of a sudden they realized, we're not giving people enough zinc, or they'd have heart palpitations. We better increase the magnesium. They were doing such an experiment on these folks, trying to keep them alive, of course. And at the same time, they found out about the nutrients. Now that was very important information, and they should have gone further with it and shown how a little extra magnesium can actually prevent the atrial fibrillation that a lot of people get when they're under surgery. And let's do that. But seriously, it is the cooperation of the drug companies and the NIH and the FDA that said, no, we can't let vitamins and minerals take the place of drugs. We have to make sure vitamins and minerals are in low enough potency that they don't interfere with drugs. And even in an NIH conference, I brought up the question, well, why don't you use nutrients to prevent disease? And they said, that's not our mandate. Our mandate is to make sure people get enough of a nutrient to prevent a deficiency disease like scurvy if they don't take enough vitamin C. And you know how much the RDA for vitamin C is. It's only 60 milligrams, 60 milligrams. Yet Linus Pauling and all his work showed that, well, look, humans, they've somehow messed up their ability to make vitamin C from glucose, and all the other mammals in the mammalian kingdom make their own vitamin C except humans. And humans, for their body weight, probably need about 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day to be comparable. That's what Dr. Andrew Saul talked about when we did a radio show with him last year, or a couple of years ago now. So it's, again, up to us. We cannot depend on government agencies who are directed by drug companies to tell us that we need nutrients.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, there weren't that many questions today, and there were a lot of overlapping questions, like how much magnesium should a 70 to 75-year-old take who has no real health problems? And that's from Joanne. Well, the trouble is, with magnesium deficiency, I think about 80% of the population requires more than the RDA of magnesium. The intake 100 years ago used to be 500 milligrams of magnesium. We're lucky to get 200 milligrams of magnesium now in our diet because it's been farmed out of the soil. So I just tell people to start out with like 600 milligrams of Remag, 2 teaspoons. 600 milligrams. The RDA is 350 to 400 milligrams. We're not even getting that. And the papers say that. They say the majority of Americans are not even getting the RDA of magnesium. So I tell people to take 600 milligrams and see how you feel. You just work up on it slowly so that you don't overload. If you go right in and take a teaspoon and you get all jangled up, then you know you're deficient. But that's hard for people to sort of accept. They think that if you take a nutrient, nothing will happen. But with Remag, things start revving up because there's 1,000 enzyme systems that you want to support. Someone is saying, I have insomnia. I can't stay asleep because my mind is racing. I take 400 milligrams of ionic magnesium AM and PM. Now, that's not our dosage, so it doesn't sound like that's Remag. So, we know for a fact that there are no magnesiums that are the concentration that we have. She's also saying, I do topical magnesium oil. Now, we moved away from that because it was too irritating on the skin, and we made a Remag lotion. She says, what am I missing? Is venous insufficiency related to low magnesium? Now, let me look up what she's saying is venous insufficiency. People will get these words from their doctors. Venous insufficiency. There's chronic venous insufficiency where you get blood clots. So it's mainly, it's mainly sludgy blood. Now, I think sludgy blood is from not enough water intake. And when you drink water, you have to put sea salt in it. And, just in general, in order to make your minerals work, you have to have enough water intake. So this is for Kathleen. And okay, so number one, insomnia is magnesium deficiency until proven otherwise. When the mind is racing, it means you're not relaxing, you're not getting into a deep sleep. What you can do for a racing mind is before you go to bed, write out a list of things you have to do the next day, or resolve things on paper so that they're not in your mind. So write your to-do list out and get it out of your mind, put it on paper. I would be taking the teaspoon of Remag through the day in your sea salted water. And the guidelines for water intake are you take your weight in pounds, divide that in half, and drink that many ounces of water a day. And in each quarter liter, you put a quarter teaspoon of a good sea salt that has some color to it, because you don't want a refined white sea salt. It has to have the minerals in it. And those minerals, they won't all dissolve. They'll hang out in the bottom of your glass. You'll see that. And so with venous insufficiency, get your water intake going, get your sea salt, take your Remag, but also look at your other minerals. It's not just magnesium as a drug. We want you to take your multiple minerals, which is in our Remite. And the dosage of that is 1.5 teaspoons a day that you work up to. And Kathleen further says, on your show last week, you answered my problem with recent acute pain in every old body injury that I ever had. My doctor had me up my vitamin D to 4,000 milligrams a day. Well, maybe it's IUs. 4,000 milligrams is way too high. So hopefully she means IUs a day. And after your show, I went back to 2,000. I'm starting to feel much better. Thank you. Now, if you had the proper amount of Remag, then your body would have been able to metabolize that vitamin D. So, Kathleen, it would be a fantastic idea for you to get your blood testing done for vitamin D. And then on the Grassroots Health website, you could use their little vitamin D indicator to find out how much vitamin D you do need to get your blood levels to where you want them. Someone is asking what Melody Rose calls an off-topic question. This is a psychologist developing a course for new mothers who are exhausted, confused, and overwhelmed. She recommends magnesium, and she wants to know why they should take the trouble of doing it in liquid form, and et cetera, et cetera. Well, it's not just the liquid form of Remag that's important, but this is Gwendolyn asking, but it's the fact that our chemist has made it in a stabilized ionic form that is fully absorbed, whereas other magnesiums may be 4 to 20% absorbed. And our studies will help show a lot of that absorption data. And with the Remag, it's quite easy to take. I know people talk about the taste of it. And what I've been doing lately is putting unsweetened cherry juice, just an ounce or two in my 16 ounces of sea salted water in which I have my minerals. And I do put a little bit of stevia in that. And I'll gulp that several times through the day. I don't even have to follow it with water, but I certainly follow it with water so I get my water in. But Gwendolyn, if you have more questions, you can get in touch with us through customer service and make use of our written materials, et cetera, to help answer questions about, getting parents on magnesium to start with. And the moms really need the Remite, because the thyroid really gets hit hard by pregnancy and delivery and nursing. So you really need to take the 9 minerals out of the 12 in Remite to support the thyroid and get that back on track. And the magnesium itself, it helps relax a person so they're able to get into a deep sleep. Phew, I've talked away the whole hour, Ginny. I'm going to go back to you to see if there's anything on chat, etc., that we can handle before the top of the hour.
Very good. Excellent. And what a great presentation of information. I hope that people are just really lapping it all in and taking it all in, because it's incredible to think what you've really created, Carolyn, in these formulas, how precise they are, how important they are for the body, how easy they are to use, and how effective they are. I mean, we have people come in through customer service and through our Instagram, through our Facebook pages, I mean, all over social media, and their comments are pretty much similar, which is, I was taking a whole bunch of products from a whole bunch of people and nothing made me feel better. And then I started taking Remag, and I could tell in like the first 3 days that there was something different about this product, because it's alive and it makes people feel alive because their cells are craving it. And same thing with the Remite, our other products. I mean, it's just really what you've done as a life, you know, body of work. And the other thing is your commitment to public education. I mean, it always impresses me how willing you are. Okay, so the immune support book that we posted at Dr. Carolyn Dean Live tonight is your 18th free book.
Oh my God.
18 free books that you've written to communicate to the public the importance of natural health and using nutrients to support the body, and how they can be used effectively as cofactors in relationships with one another, from the top of the head to the soles of the feet. I mean, that is a dissertation of epic proportions. You offer them for free. Anybody from around the world can have access to them. If they need them translated into another language, they can upload them easily to Google Translate and read them in a different tongue. I mean, what you've done is just really extraordinary. So I say, where are the children? They should be saying yay right now. We have the button. Yay. Oh, okay. We'll get to the we'll get to the yay button. I'll just say it myself. Yay. But seriously, it's really wonderful. So listen, if you want to talk to or communicate with Dr. Dean tonight, the way to do it is to call into our phone line, which the number is printed on our chat. For those who are looking at the chat line tonight live, the number is 646-558-8656. And then you have to press the access code to the phone, which is 8836953587. That's 8836953587. Although Carolyn, Deborah is working, Deborah at Dream Vision 7 is working on getting the code 1122. So we're working on getting a shorter code for people. But again, the number's posted on the chat line. It is also on Dream Vision 7 radio, where you can see how to get in on the phone call. We've got lots of people in on the call. And if you want to talk to Dr. Dean tonight, *9 raises your hand in the station and lets me know you have a question or comment, and we'll go to the phones. Lots of hands raised. We'll go to the phones in the second hour and take those phone calls. The other thing you can do is type in on our chat line, and you can also type into our YouTube, where many people watch, especially those from the international markets, like our good friend Elma, who comes in from Kuwait, and also people who like to use the closed captioning, those who are hearing impaired. So we've got chat through YouTube, chat through the radio station. You can email us before the show, after the show. Same thing, questions, questions, at Dr. Carolyn Dean Live. And you can call and talk with us today, as we would encourage you to do by calling into our radio show number as we've posted, and then go ahead and hit *9 on your keypad to let us know you're here, and we'll put you on the phone. So lots of fun things coming up in hour 2. Anything else we need to talk about before we go out at the top of the hour, Carolyn?
No, it's perfect timing. The Monday lawnmower brigade is here, so hopefully they'll be done at the top of the second hour.
Okay, very good, very good. And also, let me just remind people too on that grassroots testing, you'll want to go to rnareset.com and look for the tab across the top that says research project. That's where it is. I did get a question about that from last week's show. Where can they find it? So you have to go through the research project. It's not directly on our shopping cart, because we do need to provide you with the appropriate information about how the research project runs. And you do participate on a monthly basis, and you do get your coupon codes on a monthly basis. So there's a 6-month commitment to doing this. We want to make sure you're properly oriented as far as that's concerned. Okay. So I think we're coming into the top of the hour, and what we'll do is we'll take our lovely station break here, and then we'll be back in hour 2 with more of our dynamic, absolutely glorious, impeccably longevity infused Dr. Carolyn Dean.
We'll be back with hour 2 of the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show, along with host Jeannie Sanders, right after this brief station break. You can also get updates and resources online by visiting drcarolyndean.com. That's drcarolyndean.com.
Did you know there are 65 health conditions associated with magnesium deficiency? Magnesium deficiency is a public health crisis growing in scope and proportion. Dr. Carolyn Dean, author of The Magnesium Miracle, has identified over 65 health conditions associated with magnesium deficiency, 100 factors that lead to magnesium deficiency, and 24 reasons why magnesium deficiency occurs. Order The Magnesium Miracle today at Amazon.com and learn how to remedy this pervasive condition.
Do you have questions about your health? Are you wondering about alternatives? Do you ever wish you could have 5 minutes with a doctor you can trust? Someone who is an internationally recognized authority in the field of natural medicine? Meet award-winning doctor, naturopath, and best-selling author of The Magnesium Miracle, Carolyn Dean, MD, ND. Hear a wealth of information designed to empower listeners and callers to discover how to improve health, vitality, and well-being through a variety of safe strategies and nutritional options. Dr. Carolyn Dean Live. Shows can be heard every Monday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern, with weekly live shows, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network.
Natural health, vitality, and well-being. Yes, everyone wants it, but not everyone is sure how to achieve it. Dr. Carolyn Dean's complete formulas are more than just dietary supplements. They're whole foods and picometer minerals designed to complete your nutrition, not just supplement it. Experience the difference Dr. Dean's formulas make. Visit RNAreset.com to learn more. That's RNARESET.com.
Omega Institute, offering workshops and online learning dedicated to awakening the best in the human spirit. With more than 40 years at the forefront of holistic studies, Omega is known the world over as a trusted source for integrated approaches to personal growth and social change. Located in Rhinebeck, New York, just 90 miles north of New York City, Omega's natural environment and quiet pace allow for extraordinary experiences to unfold. Learn more at eomega.org or call 877-944-2002. Again, 877-944-2002.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Return now to the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show, along with her host, cohort, and good buddy, Ginny Sanders. Phone lines are open during live broadcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 of Dr. Carolyn Dean Live here on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. We're so happy you're here and so many wonderful things to talk about in this second hour. And for those of you who are new to the show, we welcome you and say thanks for joining us. We hope you become lifelong listeners, lifelong learners, and lifelong experiencers of all the things that we talk about on this show, the confidence of having that joy and that vitality in your body, mind, and spirit, and knowing that you're making the best possible choices for your health and for your body, and then ultimately for your family, because that's how it starts to spread once you have that extraordinary experience. Second thing, yes, yay is right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. That's the yay button for sure. And also we're welcoming Dr. Carolyn Dean back to hour 2. And again, if you're new to the show, I encourage you to take some time to really focus on calling in and talking with her. She's extraordinary. And after you listen to the show as long as I have, which is 9 years we've been at this, Carolyn, the thing that I love about it is not only do you just get good advice, but she's so intuitive, you know, in how she perceives the physical condition and also where people are emotionally about some of the stressors that they have in their lives that can be a conflict of the mind that puts pressure on the body and also creates conflict and disease. Agree, Carolyn?
Yes, agreed. Sorry, Ginny, I was just texting you and I had my mute on.
Carolyn's become quite the multitasker, you guys. Now listen, if you knew her for the time that I've known her, you would know she was not pro texting until recently, but now she's becoming the texting maven, texting me right now on the radio show, telling me things to do. So anyway, we welcome you back, Carolyn. What were you texting me? Something important, I hope. I think it was fun.
Yeah, I was texting that the kids sound like they're strangled.
Oh, they do. They need to have a robust boost. Yes, we'll get them boosted so they get a little bit healthier. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, but it's wonderful.
Getting them some magnesium.
That's right. They need some magnesium. That's Bob,
exactly.
That's Bob, our producer, opening the mic and coming in to put his 2 cents in. We'll get those kids straightened out. Well, do you want to take some phone calls, Carolyn?
Yes. But I do want to thank Debbie at Dream Vision 7 for inviting us over and expanding our audience and helping us get a code that is our favorite numbers, 2211. So we really appreciate you, Debbie, and you, Bob. Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, very good people, a lot of fun. And we're just so thrilled to have all of our new listeners, as well as our most wonderful listeners that have been with us forever, like Linda and like Julie, like Linda and like Nancy M and Nancy L. And I mean, we've just, and Super Dougie and all of our wonderful people, and Lou Brown, who downloads the show every single Tuesday morning, and if it's not posted right at 9 o'clock, he's like, "Where's the show? I can't resist. I must need it." So it's really wonderful. We've got great listeners and true partners in our experiment and our experience here. So we're very grateful. Okay, let's take a couple phone calls, and we'll go in the order of appearance out to area code 719. If you're ready, Carolyn.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, area code 719. You're on the line with Dr. Dean.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead. Give us your name and then state your question or comment, please.
Okay, it's Pamela. And I spoke with you a bit before about my digestive problems, having diarrhea, and I've been still playing around with adjusting the magnesium and everything, and my diarrhea is worse. I haven't gotten it better, and I just wonder, one thing, when you were speaking earlier, you mentioned that too much D3, vitamin D, uses up some of the magnesium. So I just realized, I looked at the bottle of what I'm taking, that there's 5,000 IUs of vitamin D3 in it, and it says with probiotics. This is something that I started not too long ago. Somebody that did a bioscan on me recommended this. So could that be my problem?
Well, it's possible, Pamela. Everybody is different, but if you don't have enough magnesium to metabolize your vitamin D, it can make your magnesium deficiency symptoms worse. But what you're talking about, it seems, is when you take extra when you take extra magnesium, you get more diarrhea. Isn't that what you're saying?
Well, I've taken about 2 teaspoons a day for quite some time, and just in recent, I don't know what weeks or a month or so, I tried increasing it because I was still having leg cramps, and that didn't seem to do the job. And then when I talked to you, I thought that you were suggesting trying backing off a little bit, so I tried that, and that didn't really work either. And so I feel like I'm going in circles.
Right. Yes, to get the adjustment. And I know you were going, are you the dental hygienist who was having to get back to work? Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the extra stress of all that as well. And let me look at if I can find your notes from before. Where did I tell you to use our Remag lotion?
I am using a magnesium lotion, and I haven't run out of it so that I could get some of yours yet.
Okay, no problem. No problem, because
I worked for a few months, so I don't have much income right now.
Yes, I understand. Well, what we'll do then, Pamela, you can keep using that one, but I'll ask Jenny if she can send you a complimentary bottle of the Remag lotion, because partly, I mean, have you ever had the experience where there's something really stressful going on, and all of a sudden you get a phone call or some news, and it goes right to your gut, and then you have to run in the bathroom and have diarrhea? So
I don't know if I've actually done it that way, but could be.
Right. The GI tract is so reactive to stress, and we often don't think of it that way. I mean, it is 70% of the immune system is in the gut, and 90% of our serotonin is made in the gut. And the serotonin is the feel-good neurotransmitter. So what can happen is with the immune system under attack and being stressed, that the intestines, the gut can kind of seize up and feel irritated and be more sensitive to extra magnesium. And with increasing the REMAG, as we talked about when you phoned before, we wanted to increase the magnesium to get rid of the rest of the leg cramps. And that wasn't working well, but the magnesium seemed to be irritating your gut. Now, are you doing the water intake and putting the magnesium in your water and sipping it through the day?
Yes, I put it, half of it in my glass first thing in the morning, and then I take the other part before bed.
Oh, I see. Well, that can be a bit of a problem, Pamela, because even if you drink it through a half hour or so, you can overload your cells, and the amount that doesn't go into your cells readily, because they're already filled up, the rest of it will go out into your intestines and can irritate an already stressed intestinal tract and then cause the diarrhea. So really...
Should I what you 3 times a day or something? Okay.
No, the directions are to get a liter drinking bottle, and put your sea salt water in that, and then put your whole day of minerals into the water, and you can top it up with, I use unsweetened cherry juice now for my sweetener, and a little bit of stevia. And then you're going to just take a few gulps of that several times a day. I take my gulps when I swallow my Realign capsules and my Whole C Reset. And I understand, your finances are a bit tight right now. I'd love you to take the Remite and the Realign, but I think we have our answer here, that you really have to be sipping this through the day to just, top off your cells every hour or so with that little bit of Remag, because otherwise it's just flushing out, and it's not helping your muscles. So that's what you must do. And Ginny will ask you to email into support@rnareset.com, give your mailing address, and we'll ship you out a bottle of Remag lotion, so you can really slather your legs with that to get the Remag into you in another way, so that it doesn't get anywhere near your gut.
Okay, well, I am taking some of the Remite too.
Oh, good.
Add that, right? Just add that.
Same with the Remite. Put that into your water bottle as well. And the water instructions are to take your body weight in pounds, divide that in half, and drink that many ounces of water a day with a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt in a quart of drinking water. Okay?
Now, I did try the 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and I just couldn't handle it. It was just so salty.
Well, what you do, Pamela, is you start with a pinch. Yeah, some people it's just too much to start with. You start with a pinch and then work up. And there is a point where you'll get to the 1/4 teaspoon in a quart of water, and you won't be able to drink plain water anymore. It'll just be so delicious. Okay?
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Dean. I appreciate it.
Okay, Pamela. You're welcome. It's good to sort these things out. Okay. Thank you for calling.
Yes. Thank you again. Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Yes, it is good to sort these things out. Absolutely. Again, if you're listening to the show this evening and you'd like to call and talk with Dr. Dean, the number 646-558-8656. And then when you get through there, you've got to enter your ID number, 8836953587. Again, 8836953587. That's featured on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. When you come to the top, you'll see how to call that number if you'd like to talk with Dr. Dean tonight. You can also chat us up on any of the open lines that we have through YouTube or through the radio station. We're available to take those questions and pose those to Dr. Dean as we do our show this evening. Let's go to area code 731-731. You're on the line with Dr. Dean. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
This is Priscilla again. I finally got back with you.
Okay. What's happening?
I was to the eye doctor. About 18 months ago, I had a case of optic neuritis. I'm the one with MS.
Yeah.
And I had a case of optic neuritis. I was left with a fuzzy spot in the center of my right eye's vision.
Wow.
And a year ago, I was to the eye doctor, and he wanted to put me on a prednisone drip at the hospital for 2 days. I said no. And last Wednesday, I was back, and he said he has never seen an optic nerve heal so perfectly, even on prednisone.
We need that yay button. My gosh, Priscilla, look at that. Good for you. Isn't that
and I do not have a fuzzy spot in my vision.
Wow, that's awesome.
I am very, very thankful.
That's wonderful. Good for you. Good for you and good for the products. I'm sure they were helpful because, yes, periodically you call in and say, well, I was exposed to these chemicals and I got over it with the minerals and now this optic nerve. My gosh, yes, because the optic nerve, it does depend on the proper hydration, minerals, magnesium, vitamin C. So, awesome. That's wonderful.
And I told my sister, I said, this is just beyond my imagination. And she said, it's no wonder you've got your feeling back. If it heals your optic nerves, that's why you've got your feeling back in your fingers.
Oh, I don't know if you reported that.
No, not my optic nerve doesn't make my fingers numb, but it's healing nerves is what I'm saying.
Oh, I know. But did you tell us that your neuropathy in your fingers was improving?
I had not gotten. See, since you're with the new radio station, I hadn't been able to get in until this evening.
Right. But that's fantastic. My gosh, Priscilla.
No, the numbness in my fingers and the numbness in my toes is, I've got feeling. And it's wonderful.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's good for you. Thank you so much for letting us know.
Yes.
Is there anything else I can do for you today?
I just wanted to tell you because I knew you would be happy to know.
Very happy. Very
Thank
happy.
you.
Oh, you're so welcome. And the body, there's the kid, the poor children. They do sound strangled. But yes, it is wonderful because we've been told that nerves. Oh, you can't heal the nerves and all that.
That's right.
Well, you can't. Yeah, you can't heal them with drugs and
prednisone. Prednisone just covers the symptoms.
Yeah, right.
And doesn't do a real good job of that. Oops.
Yeah. Well, and did your doctor ask what you'd been doing to allow this to happen? Were they at all interested?
he wondered what I'm doing, and I said I'm dealing with it naturally. He said, okay, well then don't tell me, because he said, as a medical doctor, I may know about it. I said, sure, you may know about it. He said, but if I prescribe it to someone and the law finds out about it, he said, I'll be closed down. And they'll take my license and everything I've got.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
And I just about had to cry, because earlier they had told me he has 8 MS patients other than me.
Oh.
And it's like, they need Remag and Remite.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, yeah, that's very sad. But, yeah, he must have been must be watching him, because as we said earlier, Priscilla, we've got hundreds of doctors who are interested in our products and recommending them and even prescribing them. So I guess some of them are in clinics where there is a lot of negativity about natural, but
right.
That's just horrible. Horrible.
I know it. It made me feel like crying.
Right. Well, then what you do is set up camp in his office and wait until those other MS patients come in and tell them.
I thought, well, Joy, my sister says, well, why don't he tell him, well, if you want to do this naturally, why talk to this number? I said, but HIPAA won't let him do that.
Right. No.
Because, the privacy thing.
Well, I mean, you're coming on here, you're giving your testimonial, and you're helping a lot of people just by saying your words here. So you are helping, and you
that's
can help
what
everybody.
My sister said. She said, you can help whoever is listening tonight.
Yes, yeah, which is wonderful. Oh, well, good for you, Priscilla. So keep in touch. We love hearing from you.
All right. I like your product, and I appreciate listening to your conference line too.
That's great. Okay, Priscilla, off you go now. Take care.
Yes. Good night.
Good night. Wow. That's really scary. Scary, Jenny. It's scary.
Well, it's amazing. It's scary and amazing all at the same time, because that's the polarity of the life that we're living. On one end of the spectrum, there's people that are being intimidated and filled with fear. And on the other end of the spectrum, there's us. Joyfully and abundantly bopping along, handing out our little Remag lollipops to whoever will come up to us, and letting people know what's possible for them. So Priscilla's a courageous person to, really take it on that way, and to say, I'm not going to rely on these remedies and these other drugs and things everybody knows about, prednisone, my Lord. And there you have it. She's being rewarded with that confidence and that joy, and her body's responding. It's absolutely beautiful.
Oh boy. Yeah, I remember a while back I did a blog on a family member who had macular hole, and they wanted to inject a bubble of liquid into her eye to try to do something, and then within a few years they told her that she'd have a cataract, but they would very quickly just go in and take out the cataract. And I told her what to do for it. I have the blog about it, treating macular degeneration and macular hole. And what I do is I'll look up, well, what does the eye need? And the eye needs water. So if you're dehydrated, then you can shrink the what's called the vitreous humor in your eye that that keeps its jelly-like consistency. You need collagen, and that's our whey protein and restructure helps build collagen. You need your hyaluronic acid, and that depends on magnesium for its synthesis. And there's all the peripheral cells, which need mineral building blocks, and that's all our minerals. Needs inorganic salts, and that's our remag and remite and sea salt. And you need ascorbic acid, and that's our whole C reset. So once she was on all those things, she went in for her probably a 3-month checkup. And once again, the doctor, I can't believe there's nothing there. Oh my gosh, I've never seen this before. And then they don't want to know what she did to achieve that miraculous cure. Yep. They just don't want to get involved. They don't know enough, and they deny it. And when they see the miracle, they just don't want to get involved. It's very, very sad.
Now, another thing, Carolyn, you didn't mention, but I know we've talked about before, is taurine from the Realign. Isn't taurine very beneficial for the eyes?
On the top of my head, we're looking up Taurine and eyes. Everything is good for everything. I mean, seriously. Taurine is known to promote the rods and cones or the pigmented epithelial cells in our retina. Macular areas located near the optic nerve. It's where the greatest visual activity, acuity occurs. Yeah, it's good for the rods and cones. But I really believe everything is good for everything. That's why we sort of discriminate and talk about, well, this is good for this is good for that, because that's what people expect. But it's why we put together our Total Body Reset bundle, because it's got the 5 big ones, the 5, the remag, the remite, the realign, the restructure, and the RNA reset drops, which are synergistically working to support the whole body. And when people say, oh, well, what should I take for this? What should I take for that? You know, we try to be sensitive to people thinking they need some special thing for a certain age or a certain condition, but it's no, this is the building blocks. Cells are cells. We want to support the cells with these building blocks, do it. And that's why it works, because we work from the cellular level. So
there we go. Very exciting. Very exciting. All right. Again, this evening, we're so happy to have you with us. If you're on YouTube, feel free to leave your comments, chat line here on our video conferencing. We've got phone calls that you can do, where you can call and talk into Dr. Dean. And if you're on the line right now, you can also talk with her this evening by just hitting *9 on your keypad and raising your hand and letting me know you've got a question or comment there. And again, the phone number to call, 646-558-8656, and then 8836953587, until we can get our little shortened code with all the numbers that we love to have. And we will do it, because we always get everything just the way we like it. So let's see what we shall talk about now. No raised hands. What shall we speak of?
Oh, I've done lots of stuff. Here's the COVID update. A former phone consultation client of mine emailed me. Now, she had not been on our products for 2 years, but if she listens to the show, she said her husband, her 16-year-old daughter, and herself contracted the coronavirus. She said her daughter was completely healed after 9 days. She said, my husband and I went on hydroxychloroquine for the past 2 days because she said she started with the hydrogen peroxide nebulizing treatment that Dr. Levy recommended on our, what would have been March 30th, 2020 radio show. And she said she ordered our products. And she said something that I'm sorry, Jenny, maybe you should cover your ears for this, but she said her dog got the virus too, and he actually died. Did you know that dogs were getting infected?
Well, my dogs are not getting infected. No, I do not know if I can receive that in the spirit in which it's being communicated. I don't think so.
I know. So it's, I mean, that's where you just don't want to have the virus come into the house. Now, what apparently happened was she allowed her daughter to go out with friends, and she said she got the virus first, and then she passed it on to everyone else in the house. So that's why people are talking about, keeping your mask on and staying away from people who are sick, because young people can get it and they'll overcome it, but then they do pass it on to others. And she said the peroxide treatment, hydrogen peroxide in a nebulizer, she said, I felt 90% better after a couple of days, but then she said symptoms started coming back. And that's where she needed to be on 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C, 20 to 40 milligrams of our Pico Zinc, vitamin D, 10,000 units. So I helped her with dosages of these nutrients to really get her back on track. But yeah, I mean, what do you do? It's something in our population that we really haven't seen. People who, thank goodness, people who are on the supplements. And I don't mean to scare people into taking them, but in a sense, we do have to have our stores of these nutrients. Zinc is not stored, so that's why we're saying you're getting a few milligrams in your Remite, but you might want to take an extra 10 milligrams a day through this epidemic.
Yep.
So there's that. I do have a couple of testimonials. Can I continue with that, or do you have anything in chat or the phones? Oh, where's Jenny?
I'm here.
Okay,
I'm saying things. I'm saying
you
let's
were
go.
muted.
Oh, sorry. Let's go to 226. And
Okay.
Meryl, you're on the line with Dr. Dean, area code 226.
Hi, this is Helen.
Oh, hi, Helen.
Hi, I'm calling from Canada. I was volunteering in Australia for about 4 months, came back in February, and I was there during the fires, so I had some smoke inhalation, and then I did a scuba dive. And then something kind of happened in my ears, and ever since then, I've had a cough that I cannot get rid of. And I'm kind of at a loss at this point what to do. It's been 4 months of coughing, and now I'm having difficulty with sleeping.
Mm-hmm. I would suggest, I'll say it this way, Helen. If I had those symptoms, I would be doing a nebulizer with Pico Silver one day, and the next day Remag. It could be an infection, so Pico Silver is good for that, but Pico Silver is also good for wound healing if there's some sort of little micro ulceration. And Remag is for the muscles in the bronchial tubes being in some sort of spasm, which can cause a chronic cough. So I think that those two would be the combination that I would use to clear my lungs. And
it feels like it's mostly like a post-nasal drip with like my sinuses and my ears. And I do actually use Pico silver every night before I go to bed. I also put some of it in my CPAP machine.
Ah, okay. So if you're using Pico Silver in your CPAP, then you're getting it in there. But can you put Remag in your CPAP machine?
I suppose so.
Right.
Never thought of that.
Then, right. And if it's in your sinuses and whatnot, then maybe you would have to also use hydrogen peroxide. Do not put that in your CPAP. That is only like 5 or 10 minutes at a time for the hydrogen peroxide to kill off. It possibly is yeast in your sinuses. And if you go to the book, the Total Body Immunity book at drcarolynlive.com, there will be the nebulizing treatments and the instructions laid out in the book. Okay?
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
Right. You're welcome.
I love your show. I learn so much every single time I listen to the show.
That's what
Thank
Jenny
you so
keeps
much.
saying. Thank you so much, Helen. Very good. Okay, so yes, everybody, this nebulizing is awesome. You know, what happens with our sinuses is if they get clogged up, you can't get a drug or medication or an antibiotic, not that I would prescribe them. You can't get them in that area. It's just clogged right up. So that's where, you know, putting a nebulizing mask on and inhaling will get the Pico Silver, hydrogen peroxide, Remag directly to the area and cause the most benefit. So thank you for that. That's a great question. And let us know, Helen, how it goes, please.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Let's see where we at. No raised hands right now. *9. If you're on the phone and you want to talk to Dr. Dean, you'll have to raise your hand. They're blue here, Carolyn, so it's very easy for me to see them. You'll have to raise your hand, *9, if you'd like to talk to Dr. Dean. Otherwise, we press on with our important presentation this evening. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Right. And blue is the predominant color of our Instagram page. And we have some exciting things going on Instagram. That Kate is our Instagram maven, and she helps answer questions on Instagram. And we're starting to get a robust population there. People are getting their emails and being reminded that I'm spending an hour or so every couple of weeks videoing myself. Seriously, Jenny, 2 weeks ago I did 22 videos. And 2 weeks after that, well, just a few days ago, I did 17 videos. And
that's because you're a rocker, man. You could just lay it out. It's incredible. It's just like, tell us about this, and your mouth opens and out drops the pearls of wisdom. Yes, it's fantastic.
And, you know, I set up my little tripod, and I just find it fascinating. I take my little iPhone, I guess it's a 10, so it's not one of the huge ones. I take my little iPhone, set up in the tripod, and just start talking to it. It's incredible what a person can do to communicate with the rest of the world. I never thought I'd do it, but it certainly is a lot easier than doing the 3-minute clips that I used to do on The View or, you know, other TV shows. Man, that was such a production. Just, you know, too much going on. And you can see where the TV shows, they're just falling apart because they're just too top heavy. But anyway.
Let me just say too, I love what Kate does when you send her the videos. She puts all the little squirrelies on them and little backgrounds, and little floppy things. They're just really sweet. She makes them very
Oh,
precious. Not that you're not precious on your own, but she makes them even more precious. She does a great job.
Even more
It's
precious.
very fun.
So where do people go for our Instagram page? I keep forgetting.
It's just RNA Reset on Instagram. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to Instagram,
So,
you just type in RNA Reset and that's it. And they're all right there.
do you have to have an Instagram account to get in?
You know what? I think you do. I don't think they give you access unless you've got an account. But, having an Instagram account is not that big of a deal. You can go in and be a voyeur. You don't have to invite anybody or put anything up if you just want to go see things. Just give them, put in some, give them your dog's name and get on there. It's no big deal.
Okay, here's a testimonial about osteoporosis. Now, this is Julie saying, I was diagnosed with osteoporosis 25 years ago, and it has been getting progressively worse. Because of it, I've lost 2 inches in height. I'm now 70 years old. I had taken calcium and magnesium since I was 21 years old, but of course in the wrong amounts. I could never understand how I ended up with such weak bones until I introduced the RNA products. And I realized I was taking more calcium than magnesium. I also had problems with my digestive system, which have diminished for the most part. My daughter Kim did research and found Dr. Dean's website. Kim is also taking some of the products as she has celiac disease. So again, I'm so grateful for Dr. Dean, her products. Also, Julie has been so helpful to me. So that's our Julie in customer service. She said, I have something very exciting to share with you. I'm so ecstatic. I did a victory dance in my living room. I saw a personal trainer that I hadn't seen for 2 years, and he said, you're looking really good. Then he said, you're standing taller. Later that afternoon, I went to my chiropractor, and he said I was the best I've been since going to him about 2 years ago. Then he put his hand on my back where I have a dowager's hump and said that it was starting to go down. He told me when we first started going there, he could only slow it down, not reverse it. So I'm very, very thankful for Dr. Dean and her products. I'm using the entire RNA Reset products. I started out with just Remag, then Remite. Then after 6 months, I added the other products. I've been on them for almost 2 years. Kindest regards. And that's sweet, very sweet. And here's a quickie testimonial. I'm completely off all my heart medication thanks to Remag. Another testimonial. I've been saturating a big toenail riddled with fungus with Pico Silver a few times per week for a few months. I can't report back full success yet, but I've seen some fascinating results so far. I wasn't sure if it was working, but last week I was trimming my toenails, and unexpectedly, while trimming, the very unsightly big toenail I mentioned, all the ugly part, just came off without pain. It was detached and totally dead. What's left is a new toenail growing in at about half the length of the nail, half the length of a normal nail. So what happened is the Pico Silver was killing off the fungus. That toenail died, but underneath was a healthy nail growing. This is Ted. Ted said, I'm hopeful beyond words, having fought this invader for 50 years unsuccessfully. Toenail growth is very slow. I don't know how many weeks or months I'll be waiting until it grows to full length, and I can be sure. In the meantime, I continue to saturate the toe with Pico Silver. So far, it looks the best it's looked in decades. That's awesome. Thank you, Ted. And on Amazon, you can all go there and look at the reviews. Most of them are 5s and 4s. The 1s and 2s are people who can't stand the fact that I have products mentioned in my book. But if they would only use them, they would feel less angry. So somebody writes, well-written, highly informative book. very glad I purchased it. It's packed full of information that everybody should have, especially anyone suffering from chronic illness of whatever sort. It's astonishing to understand how our bodies need each and every nutrient, micronutrients, vitamins, etc., to make our cells functional. I love the explanations of how and why we need magnesium, along with the studies and resources to back it up. You owe yourself to investigate not only this book, but all that your body needs to function at optimum levels, particularly with today's constant barrage of chemicals, environmental pollution, the lack of nutrients in our soil, and the genetic manipulation of our foods. So that was a very good review. Another one, wow, this book is a must read. Who knew magnesium was such an important nutrient tied to hundreds of metabolic functions? Everything from headaches to heart disease has a link to proper magnesium levels in the body. Another review, if I could only have 5 health books for how to cheat death, this would be one. Learn what doctors won't tell you. And this might be the last one. I mean, there's tons of them, but if you have any health challenges at all, especially chronic things, magnesium deficiency is a likely suspect of whatever the picture is. Dr. Dean has figured out really important information and a product line to reset your mineral levels. Not just another doctor with a supplement company. She's credible, grounded, and people having fabulous results on her program. And then, now let's see if there's a name with this. No, but she goes on to, talk about she calls it 800 enzyme processes, and that and she went to a naturopath for a full year, and she says it made her worse. And she went to a herbalist, and then she found my book. And she says, I'd wished I'd passed by all that other stuff and gone straight to getting and staying well. Dr. Dean really encourages people to think for themselves and pay attention to their own bodies in a complete reversal of authoritarianism in medicine that is generally practiced. So worth it to hear her message. And then she talks about studies that I reference, etc. So yes, if you want to get a insight into what we're doing here, these testimonials under our Magnesium Miracle book and the products are really helpful. That's why we like being on Amazon. They're a bit hard to deal with, but they do provide us with the testimonials because the FDA won't let us put out our testimonials. So we depend on Amazon for that. And Ginny, can you tell people about what you were able to secure on Amazon, having our own page? Can you talk about that?
Sure. Just if you go to amazon.com/RNA reset, you'll see our brand page. So we have our own showroom, so to speak, there. And what it'll do is if you're used to shopping on Amazon, it'll give you an opportunity to see all the products laid out, also how they do support. They're listed there by cardiovascular support or by immune support or by skincare. We don't talk a lot about our skincare line, but not only do we have the Remag lotion, which sure can be used therapeutically, but skin is 60% of your body. And the use of magnesium for your skin is very, very important. We also have our Renew face cream, which is excellent. It is a combination of our Renew serum, our Remag lotion, and the whole C. It's got an incredible brightening and a reviving effect for the skin. It tightens, it lifts. It's very, very effective. So we've got our skincare line. We've got our products grouped by osteoporosis and different things just to help people decide if you want to really focus on a foundational situation. But as Carolyn said, you're going to get the Remag for, say, your high blood pressure. It's going to help your burning feet or your, whatever else you've got going on, because it's a systemic kind of a formula. It's incredible. So anyway, so it's on there that way. You can also have access to Carolyn's books now on Amazon, which we're very happy about. And it does also hook up with the Magnesium Miracle, which is quite a coup because for many years there was Carolyn's book on Amazon, and it would be paired with other products that they were not even good for magnesium saturation or therapeutic doses. So it's very exciting to see Amazon/RNA Reset come to the forefront and really provide a really good overview of how our products are available and what they do and how they're constructed. So I think you'll enjoy working with that. Also, we've got another caller, Carolyn, that we could probably talk to for a few minutes here before the top of the show, if you'd like to do that.
Okay, very good.
Okay, let's go out to area code 732. 732, you're on the line with Dr. Dean. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
Hi, Jenny. Hi, Dr. Dean. How are you? It's Diana. We've talked
Diana.
before.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a question. I have been taking, obviously, the Remag and the Remite. I was at 3 teaspoons now for, I think, at least a year. And then suddenly I was getting a lot of diarrhea. So I reduced it to 2.5 teaspoons. In listening to the talk this evening, it looks like maybe I need to add vitamin D and maybe possibly vitamin K as well. So I'm just curious as to whether I should add the vitamin D, because of the fact that back in October, I had gone back for testing over at the HSS hospital in New York, and my levels had been toxic before that, I think in the spring. And then in October, they went down to 67 ng. And the doctor had told me already, no more vitamin D for you, and no vitamin K. He says, just stop it, and stop the Forteo also. So at the time, they wanted to put me on Prolia, and I've actually resisted, but my joints are hurting a lot, and so I've just tried to see if I can increase the Remag. But it seems like every time I try to go above 3 teaspoons, I get this diarrhea effect. And I'm taking it correctly. I put it into a large bottle, which accommodates about 5 cups of water. And so I put it in there, and then I mix the Remag, the Remite, and the salt. So I don't know what else I can do. Maybe you can shed some light on this, please.
All right. Are you due to go back and have your vitamin D tested again, Diana?
Yeah, I'm supposed to go back in October to get that done.
Oh, that's a while away. Would you be able to get the Grassroots Health home test kit vitamin D testing?
Well, the thing is, I can't really afford $200. I mean, I just got more Remag. My income's really tight right now, so I'm trying to see. I get it at HSS, and
yes,
and I don't need to pay.
Can you ask them if you can go in earlier for the test, or do you have to wait till October?
Well, the reason why I'm thinking of October is because of COVID. New York has a high COVID incident rate, and I'm really afraid of going into a hospital right now. So I'm trying to stay close to home, because I live in Florida right now.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, what we'll do is we'll just send you a kit, a complimentary kit, so you can get the testing done. And then we'll know for sure, because if you've been off all vitamin D since, it's probably been over a year now, right, Diana?
Oh, yes, definitely at least a year, yes.
Yeah. Then, it may be getting lower and lower. So we have to know what the levels are to be able to know whether to take it. And, just because you had a high level before, it doesn't mean you should never take vitamin D again. In fact, I think Carol Baggerly and heard people say that, people really don't seem to have side effects with really high levels. Now, I don't know that for sure, but we'll just give you a free test kit for the vitamin D, omega-3, the TSH, and the magnesium, and see how you're doing. And in the meantime, this the diarrhea, you do have to stay away from having diarrhea by cutting back on your Remag. Maybe take a half teaspoon or even up to a teaspoon and rub it on your skin instead of taking it by mouth, having it on your skin. You don't have to do the lotion. The liquid itself is really well absorbed into the skin, and that will give you your magnesium, for the sore joints and whatnot. But the joints hurting and all that could be related to the vitamin D dropping too low. So also download the Total Body Immunity book from Dr. Carolyn Dean Live and go through that and see what you learn from that. That can be helpful. Okay, Diana.
Okay, great.
So
okay,
you'll email support@rnareset.com, say that Carolyn offered a free test kit, and we'll mail that out to you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Dean. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, Jenny. Also.
You're welcome.
Oh,
okay,
you're so
Diana.
welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
All right,
Very good.
everybody. Well, thank you so much for another great show, Carolyn. All the wisdom and, of course, incredible compassion on your part, as per usual. And just so thrilled to have everybody finding us. We're glad to be here on Dream Vision 7. We're going to continue to press through some of our technical challenges and provide you with the best hosting and information that we can for these incredible times where people feel so challenged they don't even want to go to the doctor. But it doesn't matter, because we have our very own Dr. Dean here. And she's being the advocate and the gift giver that she has known herself, we've known her to be for many years. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Deborah from Dream Vision 7. Thank you, Carolyn. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Bob, the producer. Thank you, my Bob. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, listeners. We have so much to be thankful for.
Amen. Amen.
Good night,
girl.
everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Amen.
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 Listening to the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show. For questions about today's broadcast, email Dr. Dean at questions@drcarolyndeanlive.com. That's questions@drcarolyndeanlive.com.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.